And I kind of, I didn't copy them. I found stories of my own when I was a news guy in D.C., and I'd find these stories, and I'd just bank them and hold them aside and put them in a folder. And then when I came here to the fish, I had just a huge file of stories that I could repeat.
Welcome once again to the Talking Archive. I'm Josh Jacobs, and the voice you heard is that of Nolan.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on the show.
I should really talk with my real voice. Hi, JJ. It's really real high voice. It's not really that deep. I put that on the radio.
Sounds like Stuart from the show Mad TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I look at the latest Barbie movie that came out. I think that was the only Barbie movie that came out that was
thankfully
live action. And Ken, every time I look at him, he looks just like Stuart Michael McDonald on Mad TV. I'm like,
right.
Like, hello, Barbie. I'm Ken. Can I take you on a date?
Oh man.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on.
It is a pleasure, my friend. We've known each other for a long time. You've been to my house. We've eaten together. We've gone to restaurants together. Gosh, man, you are one of my ultimate friends. Man, it's so cool.
Yeah, and your wife makes some really good lasagna.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Goodness.
She used to look over my mom's Italian, and she used to look over her shoulder as she was making lasagna. And my mom was giving her little tips, just like her mom gave her tips. And, my wife nails the lasagna big time. And she's from Mississippi. She's from down south, which is like, everything's fried pretty much. So
it's not fried lasagna, by
not
the way.
Not fried
folks.
Lasagna, no.
I'm sure there's deep fried lasagna at the county fair near somewhere around
here, as we speak right now.
If there's not, there's going to be after this interview.
There will be. I know. Oh, man, I'm hungry for some fried food.
Yeah, me too.
Wings, man. Come on. Bring on the wings.
And the vending machines are working again finally, so we got some
good.
hot Funyuns.
The Funyuns
machine.
there? Oh,
yeah.
Thank goodness. Yes.
Yes.
We live on that stuff. We live on the vending machines.
But it's part of the 4 food groups, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's in there somewhere. The Funyuns.
The Funyuns.
That's number 3. How about that?
That was a snack I used to love to eat when I was a little kid.
Funyuns are great.
Oh, man. Well, speaking of kid, tell us about yourself growing up and how you got into the theater of the mind, as Stan Freberg called it.
I cheated, pretty much. That's what I did. Okay, just kidding. No. I cheated to get to where I am. No, you know what? I grew up in Vermont and Massachusetts, outside the Boston area, and it was a ritual to get up and have breakfast and listen to Paul Harvey. And I thought that when I came here to the Fish 10 years ago, I thought that the stories that he had were so captivating. He would draw you in, and I wanted to do something similar to that, but draw you into Jesus. And because it was the Fish, and we were, a Christian station, and wow, what a change that has made in my life. It's made me closer to Jesus. And it all started with Paul Harvey.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Golly, that guy was good.
He was. I mean, the Paul Harvey News, the top of the hour, and then the rest of the story. It was on 3 times a day nationwide.
All over, yeah.
I think it originated from, WLS 89 in Chicago.
Right.
And it was on 790 KABC, or for many years, KABC Talk Radio 79 here in Southern California.
Okay, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah. And he was on WTM 1100 Cleveland when I worked for Sirius XM, editing some shows.
He was everywhere. The guy was a legend. Incredible. And wrote some incredible stories. And I kind of, I didn't copy them. I found stories of my own when I was a news guy in D.C. And I'd find these stories, and I'd just bank them and hold them aside and put them in a folder. And then when I came here to the Fish, I had just a huge file of stories that I could repeat. Mm-hmm. And it was just It worked out. It worked out. A lot of people still call to this day. I got an email from somebody today that said, I really enjoy listening to Big Wave Dave and Nolan because we tell stories. And so you can't go wrong. Tell the story.
Yeah, and you two were the main afternoon guys. Big Wave for
That's
10
right.
years, you're for 10 years.
That's
and,
right, yeah.
You know,
Isn't that something?
something in common, definitely. And winning formula in the afternoon drive at 95.9. In addition to Paul Harvey, who are some of your other favorite broadcasters that you looked up to?
You know what? I can't really name anybody in particular. I worked with a guy named Brian Wilson, not from the Beach Boys. I worked with him in Baltimore, and I learned a lot from him. The guy had been there. He was at WABC and then at Z100, and I learned a lot from him and other people that we worked with. That were like Bob Madigan, who was Man About Town and for WTOP in Washington, D.C., and great guy, super guy, really smart. Everybody and anybody. I've learned things from you, my friend. Everybody. You don't stop. You're always trying to learn something. And when that stops, then you stop. So you got to keep on looking at what people do and how maybe you could improve on it or do your own version of it. And that's what, Paul Harvey did for me. And I kind of made my own way,
Now, when you first got into radio, what was the market that you were in? How big or small was that market?
I began as an intern at WXKS, KISS 108 in Boston. Mm-hmm. And I worked for this guy named Matty in the morning, Matt Siegel. And Matt is still doing the show to this day.
Wow.
He left for a while, but he's back on the air again because people love him. Yeah, they know him. They love him. He is, he has moments when he's not really lovable. I'll just leave it that way politely. And, but really smart, really good at what he does. And it was a pleasure to be in the studio with him every morning. It was incredible. I was the guy that ran and got the traffic reports. So they call me Johnny Metro.
Oh.
Johnny Metro, because Metro traffic, So it was fun. It was really fun. Yeah, he was instrumental. Let's see who else. The guy here that does the morning show, Scott, from Scott and Sam too. I've learned a lot from them as well, especially with fundraising. We did fundraising usually every other month, and it was a learning experience, and he kind of schooled me on a few things, and it was very helpful. Dave has helped. Dave is great. Dave's from New Hampshire. I'm from Boston, so we kind of spoke the same language. Get out of the car.
Who knows? Maybe someday you'll be teamed up together.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. We've done that actually at Fish Fest when we used to have these big Fish Fest concerts with thousands of people, and it was an outdoor concert here in Southern California, and oh man, it was so much fun. We'd always be all of us would be goofing around with each other. I'd be on the mic and he'd throw something at me or whatever. No, he didn't do that, but we would do things. We do goofy things and just have fun. That's the whole thing. You know what I mean? Have a good time. If you're not having fun, then people don't want to listen to you. You know? Because they know when you're really having fun and when you're not. People know that. You can sense it. Everybody does.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you went to many concerts, and not just with with the Fish Fest for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Although the Fish Fest, actually, I think there were about 22 of them total.
Were there
over
really?
Over the years. The first one was actually called Splash Bash. It was at Raging Waters in San Dimas.
Oh, wow.
And here's the clincher
funny.
Here.
It's a place for kids, isn't it?
It was a place for kids. It took place in October when nobody was I kid you not. It took place in October. Now, a lot of people listening are thinking, oh, California, you're warm all the time. Not in October. Sometimes you are, but not this October. It was chilly. And so it was pretty much an empty park with lots of water. And that was just kind of like, I guess, the guinea pig, the experiment of it.
Let's try it out.
And then finally, in July of 2002 is when it moved to Irvine Meadows Amphitheater, and we had it there for many, many years.
Yeah, I remember
that. Was a beautiful venue. Unfortunately, it got torn down because they decided to put houses there. But What a great place for a concert.
That was, and it was on a hill, and it was grassy and a lot of trees around. It was outside in this really cool place, and that I really missed that place. That was really a good. It was a good place to like hang out with other people. Like I said, it was in a grassy and green area, and it was really nice. And then Irvine. Then they left. Obviously, they had to move to a different location. And we went to, where was the location in Irvine?
Yeah, I forget the name of it, a new one, but that too is gone now as well. 5 Point, that's right.
Yeah.
They're looking for another location now as well as we speak, I think.
Wow.
And that's why I think the last two Fish Fest were at the, what was originally called the Arrowhead Pond. It's now called the Honda Center. It's the home of the Anaheim Ducks.
Right. Yeah, that was fun. Even though, it's the Honda Center, you go and you see hockey games there. They play the guys. What's the team?
The Ducks. Yeah,
the Ducks. Mm-hmm. The Ducks play there all the time.
Nobody had a guitar shaped like a hockey puck, did they?
No. Oh, darn. What a
that would
shame.
be cool.
That would have worked. I know.
Yeah, watch somebody somebody steals my patent with that.
You know what? And I've met so many people. One of my favorite is I was supposed to introduce Lauren Daigle. And we talked before the show, and she could not have been the nicest person you'll ever meet. She is so sweet and so nice. Most of the people are. In secular radio, when I was in secular radio, some of them not so great. There were some people that, would come into the studio and do an interview with you, and they were high as a kite. And that was really kind of an unfortunate thing, but you just kind of went along with it because it happened all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And
who was the nicest person in mainstream radio you can think of?
Mainstream radio, who I met? Yeah. Who did I meet that was really cool? John Mayer was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. He was pretty cool. At an urban station, I met. It's a 3-group girl, but I can't remember what they were called. But they were really nice too.
Oh, cool!
And they kept on saying things like, who's the other woman? Gosh, now I'm just like spacing out on this. That's all right. I should have prepped for this. No prepping. That's what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Mary J. Blige was really cool. I met her. Oh, one of my favorites. This is fun. I was doing an oldie show, and a guy popped up behind me, and I was on the air, and he came into the studio, and I didn't see him come in. All of a sudden, there's this guy behind me, and he puts his hand on my shoulders. And I turned around. It's Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac.
Wow.
He opened up a restaurant in Alexandria, Virginia, where I lived. And it was called Fleetwood's, obviously. Mm-hmm. And he would have these bands and all his friends over and just do these little gigs. And you could, stop by and hang out and have a nice cold drink if you'd like to. And he was very cool. And I guess I was talking about it one night, and he heard it, or someone heard it in his crew, and they snuck into the studio. I guess probably the PD probably had some kind of warning about it, because he showed up and he gave me a big, huge Fleetwood sweatshirt.
Wow!
From his bar, and it was fun. It was cool, and he was a really cool guy. He was a really nice guy.
We're talking with former Z104 and 95.9 The Fish radio personality Nolan. And next time he shares some more stories about Mick Fleetwood. Also, we'll be talking about various contests at the radio stations that Nolan has been a part of over the years and the unique aspect of those contests. And that's next time.